Grief
You
is
live
weird
with
like
it.
that. You can be totally fine for months, and then one day it'll just bam hit you out of
Yeah,
nowhere.
it's a funny, sneaky little thing. It's a sound I'll never get out of my brain. Um, I can only describe it as like a howl. So be brave. Be brave enough to say, I need some help.
And I want to add from the other side, I'm going to take some things that you said. Just show up and do something. Don't ask. You said you're never alone. And I think that that sounds like a simple sentence, but I know from my experiences in my life that hearing somebody else with a similar experience, it truly makes you feel like, even if I don't know the person, it's like, oh man, I can get through this. On today's podcast, Carol talks about losing her son, a friend that was there for her through that loss, and then that friend lost her son. You do not want to miss today's podcast of resilience and how you work through grief and pain and how your tribe and your community around you can help. Okay. Welcome,
Hey.
Carol.
Hi.
Welcome to the podcast.
Thank
It's
you.
so lovely having you here, and I'm so excited to hear all about your story of resilience. So let's get started.
Yeah, good deal.
Let's start with you. Tell us who Carol is.
That is a really hard question because I think that I've been a lot of things over the years. Right now, I am trying to just be a humble, kind, compassionate person that sometimes you lose, and just trying to find myself again right now. It's been with everything that's gone on in life, it's
Mhm.
just been kind of difficult to know who I am.
And
So it's a really good question.
I think especially too, as like, I don't know your age, I don't know any of that, but you were just talking about how your kids are adults now. And once
Most
I noticed once
Mhm.
my kids became adults, I'm like, now what? I've been a
Yeah.
mom for 23 years. Now what?
Yes,
So
exactly.
is that part of it for you
Part
too?
of it, yeah. My 3 youngest, my daughter's 16 and my twins are 12, so they're still a little
Oh,
bit
you still
little,
have, yeah.
still need me a little bit, just a little.
Yeah.
But yeah, just working and trying to be a good person and just trying to find what I love again.
That's
To
good.
be honest.
That's good because we all need to find what we love because I
Yeah,
think it's important to enjoy life too, not just
absolutely.
endure life,
Yeah.
which sometimes it feels like that's what we're doing, right?
Yes.
Just get through one more day.
Yes, exactly.
So you were an EMT.
Mhm.
What, how
Yep.
long were you an EMT?
I was an EMT for 18 years. I was trying to figure it out the other night, actually. I think it was probably the last 10. And I also worked on the fire department. Um, so it pretty much that's who I was for a really long time. Um, Worked for volunteer department and loved it. Loved all of it. Even the 3 a.m. calls for nothing, just it was great. And so yeah, I really enjoyed being a part of that.
And so what made you decide to go from that to now you're a nurse? So what was that transition like and what kind of brought
Um,
that on?
well, I was working for police dispatch and um, had kind of moved into the private sector, more money, more better hours, that kind of thing. It was right when COVID was starting and we all got laid off. So I'd thought about nursing here and there, but I couldn't justify going to a one income at that time. We had all the little kids still. And it just kind of was like a forced opportunity that I already did a lot of the things, so why not get paid a little bit more to do it versus volunteer? And
So how much more time is it from EMT to a nurse?
um, they counted some of my classes, but it was 18 months, pretty much full time school as a mom with 7 kids in your 40s. I don't recommend doing that, but if you have to, it's doable.
Sounds like you had a lot of
Um,
energy then.
oh, geez.
Or you were maybe carried by something special.
Yes, I will go with that one.
Okay. Because being a mom of 3 children was exhausting, so 7, I mean, I was raised in a family where there's 13 of us,
Oh my gosh.
I mean, I get the big family thing,
Yeah.
and I mean, 7, it's almost like half of them take care of the other half when they need to, and it's just
For
a whole
sure.
group effort because that's how my family was growing up, so
Yeah.
so it sounds like a lot, not saying that it wasn't, but, when you raise your children to help each other, then I think that helps a lot too with
Yeah.
the quantity.
Yep. It definitely was part of
And
it.
everybody knows how to cook and clean up after each other, so it's just kinda
Mhm.
like, "Okay, we're in this together, mom's going to school, so everybody's gotta pitch in more."
Yep. That's exactly how it went.
Good for you. Good job, mama.
Thanks.
Otherwise, you might not be with us still today.
Exactly. Exactly.
So, let's talk about the 7 kids. So 4 of them are stepchildren for
Mhm.
you, but
Yeah.
you raised them as your own, obviously.
Yeah.
Um, what what does that say about who you are as a person to raise someone else's children because they needed you to?
Yeah. It is not for the faint of heart, that's for sure. I don't ever wanna be like, "Oh, I'm this fabulous person because I did this." Um, but I am proud of the things that I've done for them,
Mhm.
and I am grateful that I was able to have that part in my life. It wasn't easy, and we had a lot of rough times, but
I
I'm a
can
better person
imagine
for
too
it.
because they know that they have another mother out there, and you know that they have
Yeah,
another mother out there, and I think that sometimes when tensions get high, that could get thrown around maybe sometimes.
just a little. Yeah, it definitely was hard when you talk about, crying in the corner.
Yeah,
Definitely some of those moments where it's like, "I am your mom. I've been here for since you were 18 months old. I am your
yeah,
mom." And you get the whole, "You're not my mom." It's
yeah,
like, "Okay, but I still love you."
yeah.
Yeah,
Because a
it's
mother
cool.
can be different things too,
Mhm.
it's not just one size fits all, and it doesn't just look the same for all of us. I think that
Yeah.
like, I think step parents who do it right, which it seems like you probably did a pretty good job. It can be hurtful because you're like, "I'm pouring everything I have, and I'm trying my best, and I know I'm not
Yeah.
perfect, but I'm here."
Yeah. It
Which
is
I felt
hard.
as a mother of my own children, so I can
Yes.
imagine that it would be just a little bit more heartbreaking to have these other children that
Yeah.
and so
Yeah,
kudos
it
to
was
you
hard.
and kudos to them for
Thank you.
making it through
Yeah.
and being there for each other. So, let's talk about, um, if you're comfortable, let's talk about your kids a little bit
Okay.
and like their ages and which ones are yours and which ones are stepchildren, and then maybe just kind of some family dynamics for your family a little bit so we get a picture of what it was like for you guys.
Okay. My oldest is 23. The oldest 4 are stepkids. Um, Had him since he was 6, and he is doing plumbing right now, and he's doing great. He's living his life. He's a good kid. I'm very proud of him. And yeah, he's always kind of been that stable rock for everyone else. So really proud of the things that he's done. So that's my oldest. And then his name's Dalton, and then Dylan, of course, is my 18-year-old that passed. Um, Wild and crazy. You imagine everything. Don't do this. He's gonna do it. That kind of thing. Totally,
The
totally
pan's hot.
him.
He's like, "Is it?"
Yeah, right. I don't know. You told me no, but I'm gonna do it. Just fun loving, my scary movie pal. Um, and he, like I said, he was 18 when he passed. It's been 3 years. So um, next is Katie. She's 19. She's just trying to find her way. She's independent fiercely, and she's just trying to do it and working and trying to figure out what she wants to do in life. So, Kelsey's 18. She just graduated. Um, Again, she's just trying to figure out where she's going with life. And um, she was 18 months old when her dad and I got married. So I really have had them all since they were tiny.
Yeah.
And then my husband and I have 3 kids together. Gracie's 16. She's a little spitfire, mother hen of the house, newfound independence, all the works. And then my twin boys are 12, Gavin and Noah, and they're hellions and heathens and the best little angels in the planet. It just depends on the day.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so that's kind of them in a nutshell. The older kids in the early years, we had a lot of hard times with their mom with custody and things like that. So we'd have them because she couldn't handle them, and then she'd want them back. So they did bounce quite a bit
Mm,
um, until we finally had gone to court and um, we had figured out some custodial things. So it wasn't quite as bouncy, but yeah, they definitely played the "I'm mad at dad. I want to go live with mom.
yeah.
I'm mad at mom. I want to go live with dad." And so that was pretty hard for a while. Hard on the younger kids because they love their siblings and
Yeah.
want them there all the time and
Of
don't
course.
understand why we have this, back and forth. So yeah, that's kind of how it went, but they are good siblings to each other and they love each other and
That's good. You couldn't
I
ask for
love
any more than that.
no, I love that they can call each other anytime
Mhm.
and they're always there. So
That's good.
I do love
That's good in any situation, that's good,
that.
So let's talk you mentioned your son that passed a few years ago.
Mhm.
Let's talk about that a little bit more.
Okay.
Um, excuse me. Uh, let's first let's talk a little bit more about who he was because I want to give honor to him, and then tell us about that day.
Okay. Um, Dylan, he I met him when he was 3. So when he was 3 is when we became part of each other's lives. So he was just the most rambunctious little kid with these giant eyes and one dimple, and he would just look at you with the most mischievous smile, and that's just him in a nutshell. He always was up to something, and he had a wild sense of humor. Um, very live life to the fullest,
Mm,
which in retrospect, we've had a lot of thoughts about this, but always just trying to do as much as he could in a short amount of time. Um, an awesome big brother. He was always there for my kids. Him and my oldest, thick as thieves, best
mm,
friends, roommates, the works. Um, he was had his ups and downs. He had his fair amount of, you know, his mental issues that he was working on and working through and um, super proud of the progress that he made and he was in a good spot. He had ambition, he had goals, and he was just ready to live life.
take on the
So,
world.
yeah, exactly.
So you mentioned that him and his brother were really close. Was it
Mhm.
very hard for his brother when he passed?
Yes, and he was with him. So it
Mm,
was like an extra double duty
yeah,
kind of thing. So,
yeah. Did he witness it?
uh-huh.
Oof.
Yeah.
So let's get into that a little bit. Let's share
Okay.
like that because that's kind of the a big part of this whole story is when you lost your son.
Yeah. Um, well, like you said, he was 18 when he passed. He was living with his brother up in Utah County. That's where we just moved here about a year ago, so that's kind of our stomping grounds. Um, and they had motorcycles, and every mom's hesitation, right? Uh,
Yeah, I'm
it's
right there with you.
it's one of my twins couldn't say motorcycles, and so he would always say murder cycles, and so that's kind of what we've coined motorcycles, but they were always safe whenever I saw them, they wore their helmets,
Yeah.
they were in groups, they in my eyes were doing all the right things. And so it kind of eased up a little bit, they're teenage kids, so of course things will happen, but
And also when they get a certain age, there's not much you can do.
exactly, you just pray that
Yes.
they have guardian angels looking for them and just
Mhm.
trying to keep things under control. Um, it was getting to the evening. my husband had called me. I was actually getting my hair done, so that's always fun now to go get my hair done. I'm like, "Please, nobody call me because you're gonna make me panic." But he called me like 6 times in a row, and finally I was like, "Oh, okay, fine, what? What do you need?" And serious tone, "You just need to come home." And I'm instantly like, "What? What's happened? You just need to come home." And I'm like yelling at the phone in the middle of the salon, like, "Just tell me what's going on." And that's when he told me, and Dylan is dead. I was hoping to get a little further. Um, it's very surreal. Um, just all the thoughts going through your head, right? All that he told me was he crashed on his motorcycle. So that's all I knew. Driving home, trying to drive home safely. Um, and as I was pulling in, the deputy was leaving our house. And you want to think it's not real. And you're just in this horrible nightmare. But seeing my husband in the front yard, trying to be strong for me, and just knowing this is real. This is happening. Um, his mom was already there to sit with the kids. We were trying to just keep them out of everything. We just didn't even know what was happening. Um, and the accident was about 25 minutes, 20 minutes from our house. And so we started driving there. Longest car ride of my life. Um, when we get there, it was at the corner of a gas station, and see my older son and just his friends, surrounding him, trying to comfort him. And we get there, and it's just like, what in the world happened? Like, just the confusion and the just, I don't know. I can't even explain the feeling, but all of that, and then knowing that he was there. Um, they had the canopy set up in the middle of the road, and knowing that Dylan was there, and that I couldn't go there. I couldn't go be with him. Just having to navigate the victim's advocate was there, and they were very helpful. Looking back, it was helpful. When you're in the moment, it's like I don't even know how to act, so I'm not gonna take any help from anyone. Um, and then just going home to tell all the kids, and um, Dylan's mom and her husband came to our house because all the kids were at our house. So we all came back to our house, um, and had to tell the kids. And that is a sound I'll never get out of my brain. Um, I can only describe it as like a howl. And that basically kept it off. And it was later at night. By this time, it was like 10 o'clock. And so just trying to calm everyone down enough to even try to not sleep, but just, you know,
Rest.
rest. Exactly. Um, but yeah, that's kind of what happened. And I'm little Mr. Safe Boy that just didn't want to be safe, and he just had to live. He had to live. And come to find out, he just was going too fast, and a car pulled out in front of him, and he boned it, and that was it. And my older son was behind him a couple, well, I think like a block. I'm not really sure. We haven't really asked him to tell us
Yeah.
everything. It's kind of like when he's ready to talk, he'll talk. But um yeah, and knowing that he was going through that at the same time, we're trying to navigate what we're doing, and we were just a mess. We didn't know how to act, how to help anybody. It's like, "I'm sorry, kids, you're on your own for a minute. I can't I don't know what to do. I don't know how to comfort you." So it was really rough at first. All the time, but that first night especially
Yeah.
was really hard.
I can't even imagine. I don't want to because
I
it's
hope not.
just it's so hard when they get old because you have to let them figure it out,
Yeah, exactly.
but sometimes they're not fully developed, so they just don't
Yep,
know. And one little thing that they did just for a quick second, just a little extra.
yep. That little Zoomy that you
Yeah.
had in your motorcycle, and everything changes for everybody.
So, I don't know how you drove home after your
I
husband.
don't remember the drive.
You were probably in shock, I would assume,
I'm
right?
happy that I made it there in one piece,
Yeah,
but I I definitely couldn't see and don't remember getting there, but somehow
you did it.
I did.
Mm. Okay, let's talk about the grief part because I know that's a big part of processing all of that happened, but also the healing. Those are the first steps in your healing. So,
Yes.
what did grief actually feel like those first days and weeks? Like the pain, like the not the pain, but um, like the physical and emotional, like to be inside that grief. Like you mentioned that you
Mhm.
kind of were like, we're all on our own because I need to figure this out for myself before I can help my kids.
Yeah,
So everybody's just
absolutely.
kind of like, I would imagine it felt like limbo almost like we don't know what to do next because this wasn't on the radar.
Yes, yes. No, that's exactly how it was. I know that I would get up and try to get ready for the day and shower and just fall apart in the shower, and just like, I've got to get it together. I have kids. I've got to pull it together. I need to be a strong mom, and my husband, he needs me to be strong cuz he's going through it, and I can't I can't be this mess. And how do I get out of it? And everybody's grieving differently. I have, one kid that is crying every day all day. I have one kid that only if he sees something that reminds him of Dylan. I have one kid that acts like nothing's wrong, and it's like everybody's everywhere. And one of the things I distinctly remember is that my husband and I we'd been up, back in bed, and we were in bed for probably 3 days, just cry, sleep, cry, sleep. And I remember his aunt had come over to check on everything, and I could hear her vacuuming in my house. And I was just like, I am so grateful that somebody is here taking care of things because I physically cannot.
Yeah.
It was suffocating. It was painful. Every muscle and bone in my body hurt. It was just numbness on top of the pain, if that makes sense. It's just like a black void that you're just, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. Am I going to say something wrong that's going to trigger somebody else? Am I what? I don't know. It was very chaotic. But yeah, it was, I don't know. It was very difficult to navigate that part.
Well, it's not something that anyone talks about or teaches us how to navigate or deal
Exactly.
with, or even like people talk about, oh, it's so hard, but you don't know what hard is until that's your experience, I would imagine.
Yeah.
And then you
Yes.
have to, I think that any mother would feel the way you were feeling like, okay, I gotta get my stuff together because all these people need me
Yeah.
to have my stuff together.
Yeah.
But then
But then you can't.
how do I get my stuff together?
Yes.
Because I don't even know
Exactly.
how to get my own stuff together.
Yep.
I can imagine it would just be just this, like, just kind of chaos in your brain of like, I don't know what to do next. I don't know what to do first. I don't,
Yeah. Because you
like
don't
almost
ever plan for
lost.
this, right?
No.
Like, I'm not saying that the loss of maybe, like, a grandparent or something
Right.
is less by
Right.
any means, not at all. But I feel like we all kinda mentally prepare for those things
Yeah.
a little more, and so when it's like this and it's just, "What the heck just happened?" and you don't have any of that preparation because you never think you're gonna have to.
Yeah.
I
I
never
think
thought.
everybody's default is we all get old and then we die.
Yeah.
I think in our brains, that's where everyone's default is.
Yep.
So when it does happen, especially tragically and so young, it is kind of like a, oh, like take your breath.
Yeah.
Like I get to
This
figure
really
this out now.
happens. Yeah.
And then I would imagine you wake up in the morning and you're like, oh, it's real.
Yeah.
Like for who knows how long.
Yeah. A long time.
Yeah. Because
A
it's,
long time.
I mean, I've even felt that with, I've lost, I lost my dad and a brother to cancer. And I just remember like being grateful that they were freed from the pain,
Mhm.
but also feeling like, is that really real? Are they really gone? Because
Yeah.
it's grief is one of those weird things that there's no one size fits all.
No.
And we all deal with it in different ways. And we all deal with it to different extremes or extents too, I think. And so it's like
Yeah.
you can never guess how somebody's gonna handle it
No.
because I mean I don't know what I would do if I lost a child. I don't know how I would handle it. So like how
Yeah.
do you how did people show besides the aunt that came over and vacuumed, which I think is beautiful, how
So
did
distinct.
people show up for you? Or how would you hope that people would show up for you in that time? Or and then let's go into because I think that you were able to help a friend through a similar situation.
Yeah.
So let's talk about how people helped you and then talk
Okay.
about what maybe you did for a friend and
Um, so you always you always say, I mean, I think that we are all in the habit of this, and you hear it all the time of, "If there's anything I can do,
yeah,
if there's anything I can do, just let me know." And it's like, "I don't know. I don't know what you can do. I don't know what I need you to do."
yeah,
And so a lot of people, our neighborhood, people from work, family, I mean, we had people dropping off food all the time, like kid food, snacky food that my
yeah,
kids were just like, "Oh, great. Somebody went to the store. We have milk. Oh my gosh, there's muffins, there's, treats." And just those little things. I mean, they didn't necessarily stay and talk. It would just be like, "Here you go. We'll be by with some more later," things like that. Um, I have a couple friends I worked with that they had both lost children. One when I think it was a stillborn, and another when he was in his 20s. Um, and they both came over and they just sat with me and they just said, "We know, we understand. Just do what you need to do." And it was just like, "Oh my gosh, somebody somebody knows because nobody knows."
no,
Like even my husband was trying, and
yeah,
it's like his grief was different than mine, and
yeah,
we just couldn't help each other because we couldn't help us. And so people showing up that way,
just being there,
text
not saying
messages, "Hey,
anything, not
thinking about you."
necessarily,
Yeah,
yeah,
those kinds of things, and just making sure that my family was taken care of so that I didn't have to worry about it.
yeah.
And that was like awesome, super awesome. So,
That's good information to have as somebody who never knows how to,
yes,
knows what to do in
don't
certain
ask them, just do.
situations. And that's it. I think that's important though, actually, what you just said. I was just watching something earlier that said sometimes when you say, let me know if you need anything, you're taking it off of your chest and giving it to somebody else.
Yeah,
And if somebody's in a deep grief like you were, the last thing you need is to think of something to tell somebody to do for you.
exactly.
Like that, your brain's not there.
I
There's
don't
so many
know.
other things that are taking up that space that you're not going to sit there and go, what can I ask of them?
Yes,
You're,
it's so true.
so I love that you said, don't ask, just do. Because there could have been a million things people did for you in that moment that would have all been appreciated because, like you
Mhm.
said, you're like, I'm trying to just figure out how to handle this, much less to thrive and survive afterwards, right?
Yes. exactly.
So just show up for people.
Mhm.
I love that.
Yep.
So eventually you probably got to a place where you could start to help the kids with their grieving process. What did that look like?
Um, we grasped, I can't talk, onto therapy.
Mm,
Um, my husband and I had a harder time finding something that fit for us. We had a place in town that we took our kids to, and they found somebody that was awesome that could just help talk them through the process. Um, and then we could help. It's like instead of all of us trying to figure out how to delve into what is happening in everybody's brains,
yeah,
they'd help them process so that we could help with the rest of it. And
yeah,
so that was a big help with our kids. Um, that was one of the harder parts as well is they're very resilient. Kids are freaking amazing. Like I think about it and I'm just like, you guys are the best things on the planet. And they worked really hard to try to get to the next place, and they talked about Dylan all the time, and remember that time that Dylan did this, and
mhm,
remember when we went with Dylan and Dylan, and every time we would talk about something, it was like somebody punched me right in the chest. And so that's hard because you want them to talk. That's how they're processing. That's how they're
and have
grieving. That's
happy
how they're
memories
doing
of their
it.
brother and
Exactly.
remember the good times with their brother.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I wasn't in that spot. And so that was a really hard part as well. It's just we were never on the same page, any of us. So it was just like, you're here, you're down here. Now you're feeling good. And now you're in this
Yeah.
depressed mode again. I don't know. It was very hard. But that's one of the biggest things. Plus we had a really good support network. I mean, we were there right there with all of our family, so grandmas, aunts, uncles, cousins. Um, we had a lot of people around that stepped in and kind of took over where we maybe couldn't
Yeah.
feel that day.
Where you
So,
were just falling a little short because you were
mm,
just
yeah.
trying to make it through that day, I'm sure.
Exactly.
Beautiful though that
So,
you had so much family close by because
yeah,
it's
it's
important. It's
helpful.
important to have somebody there that you know you can just let your guard down a little bit and let them kind of take over for a minute so that you
Yeah,
can breathe.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm glad that you got the kids in therapy though. I know like
Hmm.
everyone has their feelings about therapy, but I think especially in a traumatic situation like that, I think it's you didn't know how to help them process, but you
No,
also don't want it to be a burden on them the rest of their life or to have it like
exactly.
chink something inside them to where there's always this thing that they carry that they don't know what to do with.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
so what a beautiful blessing to be able to find people that they can talk to that help them process through that cuz like you said,
Yeah,
they're so resilient probably because they got that little extra help.
yeah.
And somebody could talk to them about it in a way that you maybe didn't know how to talk to them about it.
Exactly. I mean, I know a lot of things, but
Yeah.
that's not my forte. So
And
I
probably
was
people
very
that
happy.
specialize in grief and loss
Hmm.
with children because children just they don't have the same understanding or experiences that we do as adults. So I think
No.
children maybe it is a little bit like easier to help them process through it because they still have such simple minds that you can just help them like see step by step this is what it looks
Yeah.
and feels like and that's okay or whatever it was and I think that it sounds like that really was a benefit to them.
Yeah. It was good
I love that. So it's been a long healing process.
for sure.
Where are you now?
Um, well, I think for the most part, I'm doing okay. I had I myself had a lot of therapy. Finally found somebody after a few different people that just, you mesh or you don't, and
Yeah,
finally found somebody that helped.
yeah,
And um, a lot of that, we did EMDR to try to desensitized. I mean, I work in a wound clinic. We had motorcycle people all the time in the hospital, inpatient, in the clinic. Um, and it was really hard for a long time to even know that somebody was there that had been in an accident
Mm.
and not just lose my mind. Now I'm better. I can take care of everybody and
And still be okay yourself.
still be okay.
Yeah.
I can talk about him. I can talk about happy times and not get emotional and just be a mess for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
So there's that. Bohemian Rhapsody still gets me though every time because that was kind of our jam, and I still have a hard time when that one comes on, but
That's okay.
it is okay for sure.
But how do you know when the healing is actually happening? You kind of mentioned you can do some things without the tears, but what are some
Yeah.
other ways to know that the healing is setting in and you're feeling like you can do this?
Um, I think one of the bigger things, at least for me, was the anger. So angry at everything, all the things, everybody.
Yeah.
Just so angry that this had happened, that he was taken, and I think that that's one of the things that I've found in myself is I have my moments, but I don't let it consume me like it did. Um, I don't let the sadness consume me like it did. I have other kids. That was like the biggest thing in the forefront, is
Yeah.
I am missing Dylan, but my kids need me, just like we talked about. I need to be able to work through this. And so out of necessity, you just figure it out and you figure out how to compartmentalize to some degree. And um,
White knuckle maybe for a little while till you figure it out?
yes, absolutely. Practice putting those in the box and they come up again, and you practice putting them back in the box, and just time and healing. And I mean, just the weights lifting off,
Yeah.
being able to see happiness, all of those things are
And feel
the
normalcy
healing.
come back?
Mhm. To some degree, yeah.
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 New normal, I guess.
The new normal. Yeah.
So then something happens that shows exactly who you really are.
Oh man. It In my wildest dreams would I ever think that I would be in the situation that I was in ever. Um and I did talk to her to make sure it was cool that I share this part of the story. But again, we moved from Utah County. We'd been here since June of last year. From August, made a phone call from my good friend who actually was one of the best safe places I had at work.
Mm.
She listened, she sat with me, she cried with me. I can't even tell you how much that impacted me and being able to heal and get through that part at work. And I get a phone call, it's like 10 o'clock at night. And she's like, "Hey, they just called me. They'd taken her son to Cedar to start college, and they had just called and said he was in an accident and going to the hospital. Could I go there until they can get there?" I'm like, "Absolutely, of course. I'll be there," because they were going to St. George.
Mm.
And
Oh, he was coming to the hospital here.
they were
Oh,
flying him
okay.
here. Yeah. So in my brain, I'm thinking accident, probably broken leg. I don't know, maybe some bruises. He's probably hurting. And so I get to the emergency room, and coincidence enough, his birth date is the same day as my Dylan. So I was like, "Okay, it's okay. It's good." I get there, they know who I am because my friend had called and told them that I was coming. They put me in the waiting room, like the family quiet room. And I'm just like I said, I'm like, "Cool, I'm just gonna hang out until they get here. No biggie. I'll go sit with them in the emergency room." whatever. Social worker comes in. Hey, I know that you're the friend. Here's what's going on. It's not looking good. Things are not going the way that they want them to go. And I'm just like, what are you saying? Please don't say what you're saying. Please don't say that. And he's like, the neurosurgeon will come talk to you, but do you know where they are and how soon can they be here? And I'm just
Oh,
like, I'm like, okay, we're okay. It's fine. It's going to be okay. Sitting there, another friend was actually driving the mom and her husband down because their car broke down on the way
oh,
down here. So I'm just like, where are you? And she's like, I gotta wait. We gotta get a ride. So I'm texting the friend that is giving them the ride. And I'm like, dude, it is not good. And I cannot tell her this via a text message when they're trying to get here, but you guys have got to get here. Neurosurgeon comes in, tells me pretty much there's nothing they can do. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, I am back to that street. I am back to the gas station. I'm back to the tent in the middle of the road. I'm back to that helpless. There's nothing I can do to fix this. And I know what this feels like. And I'm basically sitting there waiting for my friend to get there so that she can go through the same thing. And that's heartbreaking. I I would never wish this on anyone ever. And just knowing that I'm there, knowing that this is going to be what she's going to think about. This is going to be her memories. This is the beginning of the end of her life as she knows it. And they move him to the ICU and they're basically keeping him alive until they get there. And in the meantime, I'm sitting there and watching his nurse take care of him. And she was amazing. And she was so kind and compassionate. And she did send me, my friend did send me her location so I could kind of track because I was
watch her.
very anxious to know where they
Yeah.
were. And they finally got there. And I had talked to her son. His name's Micah. And I had talked to him during those hours waiting because it's 3 hours. And kind of having a healing moment in this terrible moment where I'm basically asking Micah to find my Dylan so they can take care of each other. Not a fun time. Um, in my brain, I just kept thinking, how am I gonna tell Amber? How am I gonna help her get through this? What's gonna happen? Is she gonna be okay? They get there finally. They don't know a lot that's happening when they get there because I haven't told them anything and they haven't really talked to anybody. And the doctor was going to come in as soon as they got there. So they got there, gave her hugs. I was out. I'm like, I can't be here when you hear this news. I'm here for you, but I can't be here right now. And knowing that that was a limit for me, you know, knowing that I'm not going to be of any help right now and letting her have that time with her family.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that was rough. Um, he kept him alive for a few days. He was an organ donor, and again, just being here, everybody else is 3 hours north, and how coincidental is it that I'm right here where she's at,
Right when she needs you
where
the
she
most.
needs help, and just going and talking to her in the hospital and telling her it's okay. Whatever you're feeling is okay. I'm here. I know. I understand.
Yeah.
It's okay. So, okay in a not okay way. But yeah, it definitely brought everything right back, and I didn't realize I thought I was a little stronger than I was.
But
That
you
was
probably also realized how far you had come too,
yeah,
I would think.
yeah, that's true. That's very true. So yeah.
Because, we can always do a little more healing and get a little bit more okay with life without this person. But I think, I don't know, I just think it would still feel like a lot.
I feel like it's gonna be that way forever.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll never be healed necessarily all the way.
Totally gone. Of
It'll
course
just
not.
be
That was your one of your
yeah,
baby.
it's just a yeah, it's there, and sometimes it just comes out, and
Grief
you
is
live
weird
with
like
it.
that. You can be totally fine for months, and then one day it'll just bam hit you out of
Yeah.
nowhere.
It's a funny, sneaky little thing.
I can't even imagine what that must have been like sitting there for knowing it was gonna be, like, 2 more hours when you know what you know, but you can't
Yeah,
you're not texting or saying while they're on their drive because what good is that gonna do?
exactly. It's like I
But also, like, "Please hurry."
yes. I was glad to have my other friend there because, like I said, it was like, "Hey, you really need to get here." So,
Yeah, the one driving them?
yes.
Like,
It's
that
like,
was probably a blessing
"Please
in and
be
of
here."
itself is that that happened to their car so they weren't
Yeah,
alone.
exactly.
I just try and find those little things in the things that happen because I like to focus on the little things that happened that could have been so much worse, but I was blessed that I got these little things so that it
Yeah,
wasn't, you know?
yeah.
Um, so what have you been able to do for her that either you wish somebody would have been able to do for you or that was something somebody did do for you that really, really helped her? Because I mean, you said she was like your friend at work that helped you process. So,
Yes.
what did it look
Yes.
like for you and her when the shoe, when it's now her dealing with that grief?
Yeah. Um, I feel like even though all of our journeys are different, and you can't put it in a box. I can't say, Amber, I know that this is going to happen this day, and this day you're going to feel this, and this day you're going to feel this, and this is what's going to happen. You can't because it's different.
Yeah,
But some of the things that we had talked about, that I had just learned that I don't wish somebody knew all of the things and could tell me because that is a terrible place to be in, right? Is like,
right.
they know
And
because.
like you said, like we all just deal with. I mean, just think about how like you deal with random everyday things,
Mhm.
and other people might deal with it completely different. So
Yes.
I can imagine grief would be the same way. Like for you, it looks like this, but for her, it looks like this.
Mhm. Yes. Um, it was nice to just be able to tell her, kind of that it doesn't matter what you're feeling. It's okay to feel that way.
Yeah,
Don't worry about what anyone else is telling you or saying or any of the things. It's okay. Whatever you're whatever you're feeling, sit in it. Just be there. Be in the moment. Um, there's no stages of grief. It's a circle and you ping pong all over the place. There's not, okay, I'm finally almost to the end. I'm going to be okay. It's not like that at all. Um, and just kind of being able to say, these are okay. These are okay to feel. It's okay to be angry one day and then be in denial another day and then back to acceptance and back to, all over the place. It's okay. Um, we talked a lot about grieving because she had children, other children as well, and trying to kind of be like, all right, I know this is new, but you guys have got to find somebody to talk to.
Yeah.
You just have to. You have to be patient with Jamin. He's got to be patient with you. You guys are not in the same place and you'll never be in the same place at the same
I think that's just men and women.
time. That's true too.
Because
In general.
we like, in general, women, we're just so emotional. We have so much more going on in our heads, especially when it
Yes.
comes to our kids, than men. Not that they don't love their kids, not that they don't care about their kids. Men just process things so different than we do.
Yes.
Not
We
that
do.
it's wrong, not that it's anything, it's just different.
Yeah.
And I think, like, that's kind of by design,
Hmm.
probably.
To try to complement each other
Yeah.
mostly.
Yeah. And then
Yes.
sometimes it can be oil and water, but and that's okay too, because it's just this thing that we're not supposed to know about that now we have to figure out how to navigate.
Yes.
That's what I think. I don't think we're supposed to know.
Yeah. No, it definitely that is absolutely true. And just trying to, be the strong person for the other person,
Yeah.
and that doesn't work. It
Yeah.
doesn't work at all. You can't be like that. You can't bear that by yourself
Yeah.
and try to be okay for the other person because they need you to not be okay.
Yeah. And it's okay if it's messy.
Mhm. It's gonna be messy.
It's gonna be real messy, I'm sure. So, um, when we posted online and you saw the post and you
Yeah.
responded, what made you respond, and why did you wanna tell your story with us?
Um, it's funny because you know, scrolling, wasting time, saw the post. I was like, this is interesting. And I read through and I was like, oh, okay. Kept scrolling. I was like, went back, read it again. I'm like, no, I'm okay. Kept scrolling. It's like, dang it. I just feel really strongly that I need to message. And this is like totally not me and my character, right?
Right.
To just randomly be like, hey, but it just felt like it was supposed to be. So,
Like you were called to it, like you have something to share that people need to hear.
yeah, and
Yeah.
that maybe it was time. It was time to do whatever we needed to do.
Well, we hear all the time how healing it is for people to share their story,
Yeah.
and I can imagine that just might be another step in your journey to feel a little bit more healed. Like you
Yeah.
said, I don't think there's an end where you're like, "I'm healed."
Yeah.
But, every day to just do something that makes you feel a little bit more like you're, again, new normal, but a little bit more like, "Okay, it's okay, I can do this.
Yeah.
I
I can
can
breathe. I
manage."
can there's a light at the end of the tunnel. I
Yeah,
can progress. I can live. So, yeah.
yeah. So, um, you saw it, you kept coming back to it. Um, had you ever thought about telling your story before that?
Um, I mean only to like
Publicly, I
my
meant.
friends, but yeah,
Yes.
publicly no, I hadn't.
Had you ever even thought about it, or it just wasn't something you even
Not
thought
really. I
about?
mean, for a brief moment there towards the beginning, it was like um the forget the name now. The driver's ed, it just escaped me, but where they talk about like crashes and stuff for
Oh, yeah.
teens that are learning how to drive. Um, that kind of thing, just because it was like, if something I say can help prevent this for somebody else,
Yeah.
am I not obligated to do that? But then it was like, go away, little
Feels a
thought.
little painful, so I don't think I wanna do that.
Exactly. Just go sit in the corner right now. So that was like a brief thought, but not ever anything
I think it's
like this.
interesting that you went back 3 times before you
I
actually were
did.
like, "I guess I'm
I
doing
was like,
this."
well, all right, I guess here we are. It's supposed to be right here.
And I think that there's something divine involved there. I really think that when we're pulled so strongly in a certain direction,
Yeah.
maybe there is somebody out there that really needs to hear what you're saying because maybe they feel alone or like nobody understands or like nobody around them truly gets it
Yeah.
and they feel lost in your words of encouragement to find somebody that you can talk to about it that can really help you navigate those feelings because
Yeah.
they're not something
They're
that
foreign.
everyone has
They're
exposure to is those feelings after a loss like that.
absolutely.
I mean, gratefully, I don't want to feel that,
Yeah.
and
I
I would
hope
imagine
nobody
you don't want people
does.
to feel that,
No, I don't. I don't.
because it's such a big heavy thing for you,
Yeah.
and you strike me as a very kind and loving person that you don't want other people to have to feel what you've had to
No.
feel.
No. I
So
don't
if you
ever.
can say something that helps just them feel like this is probably the next thing I need to do is either find a good friend that can just sit with me or find a therapist or do something
Yeah.
that helps me take a step towards feeling a little bit better.
Exactly. Or be that person that just sits with them in
Yeah,
grief, that
yeah.
just holds their hand and lets them cry and not try to fix everything because you're not going to. So that was kind of the other half of that is if you have to deal with this, things are okay to do, whatever way you want to, and you need to find somebody to talk to legit. Like that's
Or if you're the friend
full
on the other
fledged.
side
Yes.
that now doesn't know how to help a friend,
Yeah.
just don't ask them what you can do, just do it
Hmm.
and sit with them and hold
Yeah.
space and let them cry and be a mess. And
Yep. Be their safe.
yeah,
Be their
no,
safety.
we don't have to talk. I'm just here.
Yeah.
I'm just a warm body to keep you company
Yep. Exactly.
while
So
you
you're not
do
sitting
whatever
alone.
you feel like you need to do right now.
Yep.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's a beautiful reason to be here, I think, is to be encouragement or lighten somebody's load mentally to know that it's okay and it will be okay.
Yeah.
What do you most want someone who's in the early days of their loss to hear? Someone who's right in the middle of everything right now. What is a message that you want to share?
That you're not alone. That no matter what it is that's going on, somebody loves you. That it's okay to ask for help. And it's okay to feel whatever you're feeling, whether that's anger, disbelief, fear, sadness, whatever that looks like for you.
It's all okay.
And
All the
and
feelings are
burnout.
okay.
Yep.
Yeah. You said you're never alone. And I think that that sounds like a simple sentence, but I know from my experiences in my life that hearing somebody else with a similar experience, it truly makes you feel like, even if I don't know the person, it's like, oh man, I can get through this.
Yeah. It's like your
It's
soul people,
encouragement.
right?
Yeah.
Like from a distance. Like I don't even know you, but I
Part
know
of
that
the worst
you've
club
you've
ever,
done this.
but
Exactly.
somebody else who truly can that you know that there's somebody else out there, even if you never talk to them ever, that there's
Yeah.
at least somebody else out there that understands what you're going through.
Yeah.
What tools have you added to your toolbox through this process of grief and a little healing and just dealing with everything? What has actually helped you that you'd want somebody else to hear?
Um, like I said earlier, I found a therapist that was my person. Like I can't even tell you the mess I was when I started seeing him and being able to work through everything and the tools that he gave me. And one of those was the EMDR, the like a
Mhm.
desensitization. um, imagery, like learning how to have the thought, feel the thought, put the thought away because you have to live, right? You have to keep going. Um, Communicating better, which is always not my strong suit. I'm the silent type, but being able to communicate thoughts and feelings to like my husband so that we
and
can
need.
understand each other. Yeah. So I think those have all been helpful things that have come
Yeah.
out of this.
I think it's important to kind of talk a little bit more about it's okay to shop for a
Yes,
therapist
absolutely.
because sometimes
Yes.
you go to a therapist and you're like, yeah, no, that's not it. And so
Yeah.
people need to know like it's not like anything else. It's like you have to be able to feel so comfortable that you can like share everything because
Yep.
that's the way that you really get to that point where you're like, I can do this. I'm
Yeah.
gonna be okay. I'm gonna make it through this time in my life.
Yep. And
And then you
keep
get gifted
trying.
an opportunity to help somebody else, which gives you this whole new set of things from a like, imagine the
Yeah.
perspective shift that happened with the 2 of you where she's there for you,
Mhm.
and now you get this new perspective of being there for her, and she gets this new perspective of like, "Oh, wow, this is what it really felt like for her."
Yeah.
And now I she gets to return the favor. Not a
Yes.
favor that anybody wants to return,
No, but
but
how grateful I am that I was here and able to be
yes.
in this place at that time with
Yeah,
those experiences.
yeah.
So
Again, I think
she's stuck with me forever.
everything yeah, if nothing else bonded you forever.
Yes.
I mean, I think you guys it sounds like you guys were already pretty close before that because she knew at 10 o'clock at night she could call you and you
Yeah,
would be there.
absolutely.
So, find your
Yep.
person
Find your
that you can
person.
talk to about it all
Yep.
and find a good therapist and shop around. Don't be
Yes.
stuck with the first person you talk to. No shade
Yeah.
to therapists, it's just personalities. Like, I'm not friends with every single person I meet.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
And you feel kind of guilty, right? Because you're like, okay, well,
"Sorry,
I've
you're not a
talked to
good
you
fit."
once, but I don't really feel like I should talk to you again. And the first place I called, like seriously, within the first couple days of all this happening, um, because I reached out to, I'll just say, our assistance program, and I called, and it took all my courage to make this phone call, and I'm literally sobbing on the phone, and they asked me, "Is this an emergency?" And I was like, "Are you kidding me right now?" I said, I guess not." And I hung up and I was so discouraged and I was so mad. Called another one, set up another appointment through a different place. And that poor therapist cried more than me.
Oh,
I'm just like, huh,
yeah.
okay.
I'm gonna
So
need you to be
don't give
stronger. Just
up.
kidding.
Don't give up.
Yeah,
You'll find somebody.
yeah,
You'll find them. So
yeah, and, I mean, how many people did you talk to before you found?
3 or 4.
Yeah, and that's
And then
okay,
finally I was like, yes,
because it has to be somebody that you feel, like, safe sharing all of that with, that it's gonna
absolutely.
get you somewhere, because if you're sharing with somebody and you feel like no, you're like, "It's okay,"
Yeah, that's how it was. I'm
then
like, "Are
it
you
it kinda
okay?"
feels like, "Okay, maybe this isn't quite right," and
Yeah.
again, no shade to the therapist who is crying, like,
No,
how beautiful that she has that much empathy, but
exactly.
also, like, sometimes you really need somebody that is gonna handle it
Yeah.
for
And
you because
somebody
you
probably
can't
would have
right now.
appreciated that and been right on board. So
Absolutely,
there's a fit for
absolutely.
everyone.
Yes. Yeah, and that's why we shop therapists, so
Exactly.
that we can get the one that is just perfect
Yes.
for us so that we can, because it's you're there to make progress, you're there to
Mhm.
heal, you're there and if you're not feeling it with the therapist, again, it's not anything against the therapist, it's
No.
just not the right fit for you.
Yeah. And you're never gonna get
And I
where you
think
wanna
some
be.
people go to one therapist and they're like, "It's not for me," but it's just that's the person, maybe not for you.
Yeah, for sure.
So if somebody's listening to this right now who just lost someone, a child or a parent, anybody that was close to them, and they feel completely alone in it, what do you want to say directly to them?
Here we go again. I would want them to know that they're loved, that their loved one is still here, that they can find happiness. It might be a really long road. It might take a really long time, but you can. You don't have to be alone and in the depths of grief forever. You can find your way out. You got to find your way. And there's lots of people that are there and ready to help. You just have to reach out and ask for it because people, human nature, we don't want to intrude, right? So be brave. Be brave enough to say, I need some help.
And I want to add from the other side, I'm going to take some things that you've said, just show up and do something. Don't ask.
Mm-hmm.
Don't ever say, let me know what I can do to help. I'm just going to say that. That's coming from me. Because I think that when I heard that, it was funny because I heard that earlier this week where it's like you're putting it off onto somebody else so that you can feel good about yourself, but now that it's
Yeah.
on them, don't give a burden to somebody who's currently burdened.
Yeah.
So just do something kind. Snacks, food, it's always appreciated.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has to eat.
Yeah.
Sometimes eating junk food for a week is great
Seriously.
because
Because the
you're just
last thing
like,
you
you know
want to do is
what?
go to the store. Like,
It's
I
this
don't
or
want
I
to go.
starve. So this
Yep.
is what we're eating.
Exactly.
And then just being that person. Like if you don't know what to do, don't or if you don't know what to say, you don't have to say anything.
Mm-mm.
Just being there and
Just
just
them knowing that you're thinking about them.
yeah, I like that. And what has this experience changed in you permanently? Not just about grief, but about life and about people and what matters.
Oh gosh. Ah, well, it definitely, as we talk about perspectives, um, being in the healthcare field, I was an EMT for 18 years. I did CPR on many people. I went to many places where they had already passed. I was in all of those situations, and the perspective of being on the other side, really eye-opening. I think it's helped me be more empathetic, more understanding, um, probably more outspoken about certain things, trying to help somebody get through, again, being in the healthcare field, we usually see people when they're having the worst time that they've had in their lives, right?
Yeah.
Um, and kind of trying to be that safe place where before it's kind of like, oh yeah, this is my job, I'll be here and I'm gone. But trying to maybe engage a little more, knowing what that feels like when somebody's trying to comfort or to listen, or hey, how are you doing today, and being sincere about it. So just a little more of that kind of thing. As far as what's important, I mean, gosh, I'm not going to say that the thoughts aren't ever there of watching my kids go out the door and wondering what's going to happen, because once you've had that, it's there, and you know that it can happen. And so it does instill a little more fear and anxiety, I think, than I had before.
Yeah.
Um, but just life is short, life is precious. Don't let moments slip by. Um, take lots of pictures. um, yeah, just spend all the time with the ones that matter. Nobody else matters if they're not making your life good.
Yeah.
And if they're making your life good, hold on, is what else is there, Like my family's my universe,
Yes.
and I try to make sure they know that. I don't think I do that great, but I love them.
And maybe they know more than you realize because they can feel
Yeah.
it from you. Even if you don't say specific words, I think that sometimes our actions can show up way louder than maybe our voice.
Yeah. I hope so. I hope that's where they're at.
So, what does life look like for you now? You're what, 3 years out,
Mhm. Yep,
moved to a new city,
I did.
new chapter. What does a good day feel like for you now?
Um, I do think about Dylan every day. A good day is when it's a good memory of singing in the car or like watching our scary movies together and scaring each other around the house, those those kind of memories come up, and just being able to breathe, to have those peaceful moments
Mm.
where things feel normal. Um, in the back of your mind, it's always there, right? You always have that. But on a good day, you're living life, you're doing your thing, you're hanging with your family, you're going to work, you're doing all the things like you're supposed to do, and you can get through it, and you can do it, and you're moving forward.
Those are the good days. I feel good. If Dylan could see you today, choosing to take the pain ah, of losing him and turn it into something that helps other people, what do you think he'd say?
He'd probably laugh at me and say, "Why do you keep crying?" But I think he always wanted to help people all the time in his own goofy little ways, always looking out for the underdog. So I hope that he would be proud of helping somebody else. I hope that he would see it as an opportunity to find some good in a terrible time. But yeah, I think he would be happy.
I'm glad you said that
Yes.
because I think so too. I think he'd be proud of the healing that all of you have partaken in
Yeah.
because he sounds like a happy guy that would want his family to be happy.
Yes. Absolutely.
And I can
He'd
imagine there's a little part of him that's like, I'm so sorry, mom.
Yeah, right? I always think that. I'm like, "Dylan, I really hope that you've thought about this and what maybe you would have done different, because this really sucks so bad."
And maybe he's had some of his own tears and pain too, watching his
Yeah,
family,
absolutely. And I
the people he loves the most too.
yeah. And I know I struggle with religion and God right now. I mean, I have my beliefs, but it definitely has tested just being so angry with everything. But deep in my heart, I know that he's with my grandma, with his grandpa, with all the relatives
With
that
is it Micah?
are taking care with Micah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're probably kicking it somewhere, playing some who knows what, wreaking havoc up in heaven. Who knows?
Uh,
As they would.
I mean, I like to think that too. I like to think that my dad still watches over me. I feel him close to me. I really truly think that we're not far from the other side.
Yeah,
And sometimes I just think they live amongst us. We just can't see them.
yeah, for sure.
It makes me feel better anyways to think that.
Yeah,
And
even
so
if none
that's
of it's
okay.
true. Why?
Yeah.
What's the harm? It's like
Yeah.
I just
And
feel
for me,
like
a
we're all
belief in
together.
something bigger than myself makes me feel like I'm not alone in all of it too.
Oh, for sure. And not having that hope
Yeah.
for what happens next, you know? And it's like, who really knows, right? But I have to hang on to that. I have to hang on to that hope and that knowledge that I'm going to see him.
And
I'm
I
going to
think
see him
that's
again.
great because it brings us peace.
Yeah.
It's a way for us to feel peace in a really crappy situation
Exactly.
and
Exactly.
losing people that we love. I can't help but think that's how it is. And I'm okay if
Yeah.
I'm wrong because it's getting me through now.
Exactly. Why we were not going to care after anyway, right? Like we won't
When we
care.
figure it out, I'll be like, oh, okay,
Like,
that's what
oh,
it was.
okay.
But for
Yeah.
now, this is my reality and it comforts me. And so
Yeah.
it doesn't matter what other people think about my situation
Nope.
because it's for me.
Yep. Exactly.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad after 3 promptings you came back to the post
Thanks for
because
having
I
me.
really truly believe that your story is so powerful and so necessary. And I'm grateful and I feel honored that you chose to share with us here on Irene Cares.
Thank you.
And I just want anybody out there to know that if hard things happen in your life and you feel alone, you're not alone. And there's always somebody there that will be by your side. Sometimes you have to seek it out and sometimes it shows up, but no matter what, just know you're never alone. And we're so grateful that we have had Carol here to share her story with us.
Thank
And
you.
we're so grateful for the beautiful woman that you are and the loving and caring and empathetic woman that
You
you are
cry
to your
again.
friends. And I feel truly honored to have met you, and I will never forget you.
Thank
You're
you.
an
It
amazing
means a lot.
woman, and I am so grateful for you for your children because I can tell that you really truly do your best with your children and you want the best for them and you do the hard work so that you can be there for them and that's beautiful and more mothers need to be like you, I think.
Yeah. Necessity, I think, is most of that, but
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you for being here. And if you have a similar experience and this has brought you some peace, please let us know in the comments so that we can share with each other and really truly heal together. Thank you for being here. God bless.